This is Brandon Jones with the University of Cincinnati and Northwestern University. One interesting aspect of teaching an intro to mobile course, or in other words, a mobile user experience and design, is the ability to go back on my own work and see what I could have improved on or what I did improve on over the years. In the course of teaching this course, I've made several videos, and I'm able to go back and get screen captures from those videos and look at the app that I wrote and see how I've changed it over the years. So we know that a lot of times developers think they're good at user experience, but indeed they're not good at user experience. We really need to bring a user experience expert in. In the following slides, we're going to take basically a case study and look at before and after screen captures from my app, planplaces.com mobile, and consider how we could improve the screens. So I'll show the old screen capture, and then we'll pause for a second, and I'd like you to think how you would improve that screen. Let's get started. First of all, this is the main menu. This is the before of the main menu. So you see we have a title across the top and then a little title here, a picture in the background, and several options. So think to yourself now, how would you improve this if you were going to improve this for user experience? So what does it look like now? That's it. There is none. There is no main menu. One of the design suggestions from Android is that we do not have a splash screen and we do not have a main menu, but instead we take the user directly to the screen that the user wants to use 80% of the time, or in other words, that 80% of the audience wants to use. So the main menu is gone, splash screen is gone. Think very seriously about that with your app. Avoid having a main menu. Have it so that when the user taps on the icon, you take the user directly where he or she wants to be. So in the case of planplaces.com mobile, while there are a lot of features, the ones that most people are going to use is search by color. So now it takes you directly to search by color. That's the first screen you're going to see. Everything else is an option off of the menu expansion right at the top there. Another problem with main menus is that I was promoting certain things to the very front, to the very top, which really should not be promoted. Things like change your preferences. That should really be hidden, to be honest with you. It shouldn't necessarily be totally hidden, but it shouldn't be the first thing the user sees. Visit planplaces.com. That's something you would open a browser. You wouldn't go to this app to do that. So there were a lot of things that were unnecessarily promoted to the first screen. Okay. Search by color, here's the before view. You see here's a picture of some flowers, and here are the colors that it indexed, some mauves and some greens. Now here's a trick. What if you search by color for green on a plant? You'll get all plants. All plants have green in them. That's chlorophyll naturally. So I have not indexed the color green in any plant. So if you clicked on these greens, you would get no results. And that's bad user experience because you're taking the user through unnecessary clicks. Here's the new search by color. You see an image here of a redbud tree, the flowers specifically from a redbud tree, with a sky blue background. But when you look at the colors that were indexed, the index colors are all in the pink, mauve, and even white that you'll see in this flower. None of the blue. The difference here is that it pulls down a filter ahead of time and filters out sky blue and leafy green so that the user's only going to see search results that matter. Without that filter, it looks like this. If we did that same picture and we color indexed it, the top 16 colors would be 14 sky blue shades, and those are all different shades, but 14 shades of sky blue that are going to have no results, and then 2 shades of white that may have results. But nonetheless, a whole lot more useful clicks on this screen than on this screen. Okay, here was the first iteration of the open existing image. In other words, when you click this button, open existing image, it would take you to this screen. Now, what's wrong with this screen? It's showing only JPEG images, which is fine, but notice that it's showing only the file name. What we really want to see are pictures. So one of the Android development principles is pictures are faster than words. The other thing is I wrote this from scratch. It took a lot of testing, a lot of code. For this, I used an implicit intent. It used a library that was already on the Android development environment. 4 lines, much easier and a much better user experience. Now, when you actually pick a color, you go to the results screen. And the results screen used to look like this. So here are a list of plants that match a specific color. Now, what's wrong with that? The same lesson we just had, which is pictures are better than words. Here's the new screen, and you see on this screen, it shows the name of the plant and also a picture of the plant. Now, a caution here, these photos, because there are about 6,000 unique plants in the database, these photos all have to be downloaded when they're viewed, so they're not preloaded on the phone. There is a time lag, so we have to be very careful with user experience there as well. The way the app works is it will show you the name of the plant and a placeholder for the image, and that gives you an immediate response. After that, then, a background thread runs, downloads the images, and populates the images. So we have to do that as 2 separate processes so that we can give the user the image to look at, but on the same note, we don't degrade the user experience. We still have a very responsive UI. Okay, now here's a good one. This screen, I knew when I wrote it, it was too cluttered, and I thought very hard about how to unclutter it, and that was tricky. Look at all of these buttons. Which buttons do we need? Which buttons could we do away with? So we have latitude and longitude, which is talking about a specimen of a plant, a specific specimen. We have select a plant, which is the scientific definition of a plant. For select a plant, we have to go through this sequence. Click the button, go to a search screen, type in our search criteria, and hit search. We'll see the results. In some cases, we'll see a specimen, but usually what we'll do is we'll click a result, it will take us back to this screen, and it will show us the result that we picked up here. Where's the plant description of the plant? Save the plant to the phone, show plants you've saved, or specimens rather, save the specimen of the phone and show specimens you've saved. Upload them, take a photo, and then cite. What cite means is we can associate specimens of a plant with a particular location. So here you see the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Gardens, all the plants that are GPS there. And you see each of these options here is considered a site. So Milan, that's another site. And we're associating plants together in Milan by saying, okay, all of these plants share the same site, and that is Milano. So that's the definition of a site. Where do we want to associate these together? Okay. I struggled a lot on how to make this screen simpler, and let's look at the after. Okay, the after view. There's actually one new widget, which is a timer that shows us how old the GPS is. Still have the latitude and longitude. The site is gone. The site is now combined with location, but what's important about that is that location will auto-complete as you start typing. And if you type a location that doesn't exist, it will automatically be created. The plant name, we did away with the select plant button. Now plant name is autocomplete. So as you start typing the plant name, it will start filling it out. So there's no need to actually go to a search screen, enter a name, hit search, go to a result screen, select the result, then have that result come back to this GPS screen. Instead, we use an autocomplete with a pre-populated list of 3,000 plants, and as you type, it selects that plant. But if you type something that's not recognized, it will create that plant brand new. That significantly cuts down on the number of screens that we need, and essentially what it does is it means we can GPS entirely from this screen without ever leaving the screen. The only exception being when you take a photo, it's going to open up the camera, but beyond that, we can GPS entirely 100% from this screen. Okay, another one that's gone. Take a look here. Remember the upload button? Without the upload button, we can change save to phone to just save. So that's a simpler, fewer words are better. But what happened to the upload button? Well, it's kind of silly to ask the user to decide when to upload when the program knows the best time to upload. We know there's going to be a lot of data. We don't want to consume a limited data plan. And we know that it's going to require a bit of power to transfer all of the data and the photos up to plantplaces.com. So what we did here is remove the upload button and replace it with a broadcast receiver. A broadcast receiver is like when you have your phone, you go into your car, and if your car is Bluetooth enabled, it recognizes your phone and immediately starts playing music over the car's audio system. Or you plug in headphones and it realizes that you've plugged in headphones. A broadcast receiver will listen to events, and we can tell it that we're interested in certain events. In this case, we've told it, I'm interested in the event plugged in charging and the event Wi-Fi. When both of those are true, it will automatically upload images and GPS locations. Now, another Android principle is decide for me, but allow me to have final say. So that's the decide for me. We've decided to go ahead and upload when on Wi-Fi and plugged in charging. Now, let me have the final say. You can disable that option by going into settings and you unclick auto upload over Wi-Fi. When you do that, you'll get the upload button back again and you have to manually press it when you wish to upload. But the default is upload at the best time, which means we have power plugged in and we're on Wi-Fi. Okay, show saved. When you would click on the show saved button, this is what you would get before, a list of plant name and the latitude and longitude. Here is the new show saved. Okay, first of all, this is a placeholder. It will fill in with the photo that you've taken of the plant, but also notice that you can search and see results all on the same screen. We're not going to multiple screens, and that's a big theme. We want to do as much as we can on one screen in a nice way without cluttering the screen, but we want to do as much as we can on one screen without constantly jumping screen to screen. So if I only want to see magnolia, I can type in magnolia and hit search. Then we'll see the magnolia, we'll see the picture. Also, real objects are more fun than buttons and menus. If you click on View Map, you can see where the GPS point will land on a map, which is a lot more user-friendly than just seeing what is essentially a useless number out of context. So 3926-8413, that's roughly Cincinnati, Ohio, but you don't know that unless you happen to really know GPS well. It makes a lot more sense when you see it physically on the map. So that's a little before and after survey, and certainly we're not done yet. Certainly there's more that can be done, but what's important is that when you look at a screen like this and it really feels like every single one of these buttons and text fields and labels is absolutely essential. If you can get creative and think about what you really need and what you really don't need, you can many times come to a much simpler, much easier to use user interface and have a user experience that requires far fewer screen navigation, screen clicks. So I'm interested in your feedback. What do you think? Is there anything that you would also take off? I've had thoughts and suggestions on how to eliminate this save button and have it just automatically save. So there are a couple of considerations there, but that's one thing that's come up, and maybe like a running list of plants and specimens that you've saved down below. There are a few options that we could explore there, but I'm curious what you think, how this affects your own app, and what suggestions you might have. So please leave comments and let me know. Thank you.